Good afternoon, I'm Madeline Kerr with your local news update. The Western Region's new police commander says he's focused on working closely with the community to build trust and move policing forward as COVID restrictions ease. Assistant Commissioner Brett Greentree spent his first full day on the job yesterday after arriving from Newcastle. He's no stranger to the West though, having previously been stationed in Burke and Moree. With much of the focus on COVID compliance, he's been quick to praise the community of Orange after it emerged from lockdown. Dubbo and Wellington residents will be asked to vote on whether or not the ward system should be abolished. Council has voted to hold a referendum alongside the December local government election. It follows a motion put up by Councillor Vicky Etheridge. Mayor Stephen Lawrence has also spoken out in his support. And there's still a chance for us to watch the state government's farming forum of mice. It was attended by around 200 people online and led by Agricultural Minister Adam Marshall. The forum offers advice on zinc phosphide as well as managing and monitoring the pests. We can view it on the Department of Primary Industries website. Taking a look at sport, and while COVID may have cut the local rugby league season short, there's a silver lining for Wellington's Justin Toomey-White, who's been voted the Group 11 Player of the Year. The Cowboys captain-coach was afforded the honour by fans, taking out 31% of the vote in a poll run by the Daily Liberal. Let's take a look at the weather now. In a high of 15 degrees in Orange today, partly cloudy and a medium chance of showers. In Dubbo, a max temperature of 21 degrees today, cloudy with a chance of some showers later on today. I'll have another local news update in about an hour's time. Until then, have a great afternoon and I'll see you then. Good afternoon, I'm Madeline Kerr with your local news update. Due to the ongoing risk of transmission in the community, Cowra's stay-at-home orders have been extended to October 5. Health officials have renewed their calls for locals to step forward for testing as they attempt to detect any other potential cases in the area. You could be sitting on a small fortune and not even realise it. There's over $1.5 million of unclaimed money across the Central West waiting to be collected from Revenue New South Wales. It's from things like shared dividends, trust accounts and deceased estates, with Orange seeing $700,000 yet to be claimed, while Dubbo has $430,000 on offer. The Minister for Finance says Orange is the second highest regional suburb for unclaimed cash. Today marks Good Neighbour Day across the Central West, and we're being encouraged to check in on our friends next door. It's all in the name of better wellbeing as the pandemic continues to have an adverse effect on mental health. An estimated 20 people take their own life in Western New South Wales every year. And we're being urged to reflect on that statistic and the relationships we have with those around us. Spokesperson Lloyd Edge says it's important to be more than just a stranger. And an elite cyclist and Charles Sturt University student in the Central West has been given a helping hand after being named the recipient of a specialised scholarship. Will Hodges was awarded the honour from the Sports Council, which is aimed at helping him achieve his cycling and study goals. The 24-year-old will make a world of difference. Well done. In today's weather, a max of 15 and a medium chance of showers in Orange. I'll have another local news, sport and weather update in about an hour's time. I'll see you then. Have a great afternoon. Good afternoon, I'm Madeline Kerr with your local news update. 2 men from Dubbo have sadly passed away from COVID-19. The first, an unvaccinated Aboriginal man in his 40s at Dubbo Base Hospital who had underlying health conditions. The second, an unvaccinated man in his 70s who was receiving palliative care. Across the state, 863 local COVID cases were recorded overnight, with 21 of those coming from the Western Health District, the majority in Wellington. Our Central West farmers have been left feeling frustrated with the growing fears that the bumper season will be wasted due to a lack of government cooperation. Border restrictions could make harvest difficult for a second year in a row. Xavier Martin is the Vice President of the New South Wales Farmers Association. He's calling for common sense, urging government officials to put their differences aside. And we've been given a handful of tips to make friends with our neighbours, with today being Good Neighbours Day across the Central West. A new study has found that 42% of us are now closer with those next door due to the pandemic, while 63% are happier speaking with their neighbours more often. If you're looking to spark up a conversation, simply say hello and invite them over for a drink or a barbecue. Taking a look at sport, and in the NRL, some more accolades for Dubbo footballers Isaiah Yeo and Matt Burton overnight, making the cut for the Dally M Team of the Year. Yeo has been named lock with fellow local Burton in the centre. Unsurprisingly, the Panthers dominated the side, the two Central West products among 6 of the 13-man team. To tomorrow's weather, a max of 13 in Orange, partly cloudy and a very high chance of showers. I'll have another local news update in an hour. I'll see you then. Good afternoon, I'm Madeline Kerr with your local news update. 21 new locally acquired COVID-19 cases in the West, and 2 people have sadly died in Dubbo. An unvaccinated Aboriginal man in his 40s who had underlying health conditions, and an unvaccinated man in his 70s who was in palliative care. There are also 863 new cases across the state. Dubbo residents will vote for more than just councillors in the December local government election. A referendum will be held alongside the ballot, asking whether the ward system should be abolished. It comes after a motion at last night's meeting put forward by Councillor Vicky Etheridge. There are plans to make regional New South Wales a more enticing place for teachers. The state government has conducted a review, now pledging an overhaul of the way it attracts and regains teachers in the bush. Some things we'll start to see come into effect right away include improved teacher accommodation and increasing rural scholarships. And Charles Sturt University students in Orange and Dubbo are being reminded to apply for scholarships, with over 150 currently on offer to assist with studies. Third-year exercise student Will Hodges has recently been named the Sports Council Scholarship Award winner. The 24-year-old is an elite cyclist and says it would be nearly impossible to maintain both commitments without the financial leg up. Taking a look at sport, while the Group 11 season came to an early end due to the COVID pandemic, Wellington's Justin Toomey-White has something to smile about. The captain coach of the Cowboys has been revealed as the fans' player of the year. Comes after a poll run by the Daily Liberal. To weather, 13 in Orange today, partly cloudy and high chance of showers. See you soon. Good evening. The West recorded 21 new COVID cases today. 6 of those were infectious in the community. Some of those for at least 2 days throughout Dubbo and Wellington. And life-saving breast screening services are coming back online in the West. Breast Screen New South Wales had to scale down services due to the pandemic, but will now be resuming on a case-by-case basis. Tomorrow, 13 and partly cloudy in Orange. More news soon. Stay with us. Good evening. 2 people have sadly died in Dubbo from COVID-19, while the Western Health District recorded 21 new locally acquired cases. 12 of those cases are linked, all household contacts, and 9 are under investigation. And there were 4 break and enters reported to the Arana Mid-Western Police District in the past 24 hours, all in Dubbo. Tomorrow, 13 and a possible storm in Orange. I'll see you soon. Good evening. 2 men in Dubbo have tragically died from COVID, with one of the deaths to be included in tomorrow's numbers. 21 new cases in the region and 13 people are in hospital with the virus, 5 of those in the ICU. And over 88% of people in the West have received their first dose of COVID vaccine, while 60% are double vaxxed. Tomorrow, 13 and rainy in Orange. Warmer in Dubbo, 18 degrees. See you soon. Good evening, I'm Madeline Kerr with your local news update. We've seen another 2 deaths in the Central West caused by COVID, both in Dubbo. An unvaccinated man in his 40s who had underlying health conditions and an unvaccinated man in his 70s who is in palliative care. There's also been a new confirmed case in Orange, a close contact of a Wellington case with a total of 21 recorded across the region. Wellington saw 11 new cases, sparking renewed calls from health officials for more testing and vaccination. Across the state, there were 863 new cases. Breast screen services are returning to New South Wales and the Central West. The life-saving measure, which can detect cancer before symptoms appear, was paused in August. Director of Breast Screen New South Wales, Sarah McGill, says they're working with local health districts across the state to plan for reopening. In sport, there's an Orange Hawks AGM coming up. It's scheduled to be on October 17 at the Ex-Services Club on Anson Street. And taking a look at tomorrow's weather, a top of 13 degrees in Orange, lots of rain about 2. Dubbo will get to around 18 degrees tomorrow, cloudy skies and a very high chance of rain. Possible storm and 18 degrees in Cowra. That's all from me tonight. Have a great evening. We'll see you again tomorrow.